live this shit, dude.
You and me, bro, we both live it. We do. I mean, honestly, that's what I was going to talk to you about. We do live this shit.
That's it. It's a lifestyle, right?
I mean,
some people dabble.
We don't dabble. We went in feet first.
Yeah. No backup plan.
No backup plan. And it's hurting us. Hey, it's BT with Tales from a Gemini. Today, I got my old school friend, old school comic, Mike Merryfield. And I said old school in the sense of, like I said, Alonzo Bowden had this quote when we watched Kurt Fox on stage. Oh, man, this guy is hilarious. He goes, he was funny when funny mattered. And that's how I look at you. And like, I'm not going to lie. I left LA in 2006. And then I think I went back for something maybe a couple years later. And I had to readjust my funny. I was like, okay, this is what's funny now. I said, okay. And it took me a while where you're one of those dudes, and I say old school because you're going on stage and you're funny. You have your first joke, bam, all through the, not just start off strong, end strong. Your whole set is strong and you end with a bam. And that's why I say old school, because there was a while when I was watching guys on stage and I'm like, they had like podcasts, they had a following, and you're going, really? This shit? This right here, and it would make me mad, and I wasn't hating, but I was like, really? So this is what comedy is now.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think now it's easier to reach. I appreciate the compliment, by the way, and I believe you've been doing it since back in the day too. Isn't it weird that I'm considered like an old school? I'm like an old comic now, and I don't know when that happened, because I still feel like the 24-year-old that started doing stand-up. I certainly haven't matured any or whatever since then, but I still feel like I'm a young man. So it's, first of all, it's weird to be like an old school comic, I guess. But it was about just how you did on that stage. That was it. You didn't have to have a Twitter account. You didn't have to be good on Instagram. You didn't have to have a podcast or whatever. But, I think, I don't know how sad you want to get right away, but I feel, I feel like stand-up is a dying thing. I feel like stand-up as we know it, the B room, C room club model, where it's guys like, you and me who are not nationally known comics, but we can do the job. We're good. That's going to go away. I think this younger generation of people don't respect, live entertainment. They don't understand how important it is. We grew up in a time where you'd be locked in the house and you had television, and then there was live entertainment. That was the only other option. Now they have so many options or whatever. I just think people like under 30 right now, maybe under 35, they don't give a shit about comedy. But they'll still go see Tom Segura. They'll still go see Kreischer. They'll see all these big people at the upper levels of comedy, but the journeyman comic like ourselves, who don't necessarily make it to the national spotlight, the idea of people going to a club and going, hope this guy's good.
You think that's over?
That's over.
Okay, dude. That's Wyatt. Wyatt's what, 21? Ask him that question.
What do you think, Wyatt?
I would say like it's a very good point. Because like you look at like a lot of younger people that haven't gone through like the steps of like somebody starting out in stand up and just like climbing the ladder, like just like starting at the open mic, like the traditional, like start at the bottom, grow your way up. There's a lot of people that have skipped a lot of steps where they build that social media following on Instagram or YouTube, and they're literally selling tickets strictly off of their following they have on social media. So I think there's a chance that it could be going away. But at the end of the day, I think there's like, I think both will win. Like both, there'll be both. Like in like 15, 20 years, I think there'll still be big time guys like like a Bill Burr or Chappelle or people that are like selling out arenas. I think there'll still be those type of people. But on the other hand, there'll still be people that are just strictly selling tickets off of their social media following, if that makes sense.
Because it's hard to go mainstream, though, because there's no real mainstream. Mainstream used to be ABC, NBC, CBS.
Yeah.
Like that's how you were considered mainstream if you were on. And there is none of that anymore. You can be on those shows. There's sitcoms. Somebody told me about a sitcom the other day. I had no idea it existed.
Which one?
I don't even remember the name of it. But 20 years ago, I knew the names of every single show that was on television.
And that was the goal as a comic. Your goal as a comic used to be, man, if I can get a Carson, or you get a Carson, or I get a Letterman, or maybe even Conan. Conan's late night. So Conan was almost like, he was almost the start of the alternative, and then they don't use that anymore because
He embraced it.
Yeah, okay, he embraced. But at the same time, that was the goal. And if you get that goal, then man, if I can get a sitcom on ABC or NBC, you are golden. Like what? Brett Butler. Who else was there? But definitely Seinfeld.
Tim Allen, Seinfeld. There was what's his name? King of Queens.
Oh yeah, Kevin James. Yeah,
Kevin James.
Brad Garrett. What you do? Workers
Brad
Club.
Garrett. Yeah,
that was the model. But now, in a way, I think it's a little give and take. I think what really helped us so is the pandemic helped us. As far as that goes, because I think I think people now they want to get out now.
Yeah,
they were so locked in. They want to get out. Like, I just want to laugh. I just want to get out. I want to laugh. I want to, and I don't care who this guy is. In a certain, if you want to sell out,
certain demographic, by the way.
Yeah,
but those people are all going to die in the next 20 years. They're not coming out to clubs much longer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. You can get those people in the first show. But it's the second show where you're gonna have to have a younger talk about something younger or whatever the young crowd that identifies with. But if you go out there now, even though I like to think we think young, and then you hang around some actual young people, you go, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, because it happens so gradually that I swear to you, I still feel like I'm a 25-year-old comic just starting out. But
until you
even talking to the other comics, man, I'm sure I get a bad reputation for being the old guy, but I can't stand how they call them mics. I give you so much credit. You said open mic earlier. I appreciate that. This younger batch changed it to mic, and it grinds my gears like you wouldn't believe.
And they get pissy if you say open mic, or if you call them an open mic, or you call them I'll call them an open mic.
Call them an open micer, yeah.
Even though they haven't worked, they haven't gotten a dime off of comedy. Right. You go and the open mic, and sometimes I forget where I was. Maybe it was in I think it was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I hated those people, and I hated everything about that room. And I remember, like, no one told us they had a mic after the regular show. So I was like, oh my God, we got a good crowd. But it was just a lot of dudes waiting to come up after we were. So I kind of went longer on purpose. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, we got some open micers after the show. I mean, I don't think I was doing it on purpose because I hate everything about that. I don't think I've ever met anybody I liked in that room. I'm from management to crowd. One crowd member, I forget his name, Rob, I think it was. I like that guy. Other than that, I've always hated Harrisburg.
I did it one time. I could have swore it was the last time they were ever going to do it. It was in that really shitty hotel, right? And it seemed like the hotel was going to close down. It was like a meth hotel.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'm one of the last guys to ever work this shithole. And there was like nobody in the room. And the room was terrible. And I got heckled by a drunk Ecuadorian guy, which you never would have thought would have happened there. But it was just the worst freaking room. I remember working it and just going, do I even want to do comedy anymore? And there's a lot of those rooms. I'll just say it, like the Looney Bins. Like when I work Looney Bins, I get so sad when I'm there.
You walk in and you smell honestly in Little Rock,
the 80s.
In Little Rock, I mean, God bless his soul, Jeff. But honestly, you walk in and you smell 1992.
It's terrible.
93. You do. And when you walk in and you got those chairs there and the old 8x10s, you go, oh my God. And you smelled 1992. And that's being nice about it.
Yeah.
Everything about that room. And when you get on stage, that booth on stage left, that's kind of like that wraparound booth.
Right.
They're always bad. They're always drunk, and they're terrible. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody get kicked out ever.
No, they can't because everybody pays there too. That's the other thing I'll give the Looney Bins credit for. It's also part of their why they suck is because they don't paper the rooms at all.
Which is good. It's
good and bad, but if you don't paper, you got to do something to get people in there. Like and I'll even throw myself under the bus. Have better comics. You need comics that are a draw, but you have to pay them more. You might have to redo your room a little bit so it doesn't look so shitty.
Maybe vacuum.
Yeah, maybe vacuum.
Maybe once a month. Maybe vacuum once a month.
It still smells like smoking. Like it still smells like you can smoke in it. It's what it smells like, a smoky bar. And there hasn't been smoking allowed in like 25 years. So what are we doing here, you know?
I mean, but you're right though. It's like, when you leave there, you never feel like, you always like, you get that check, you go, okay. And then
I had a conversation with my buddy Mark Ryan once, and he was like, he just put it right on the table. He goes, all road work does is get you more road work.
Yeah.
And road work's not good. It's not fun. I mean, it can be fun. Like when you're young and you're just getting into comedy.
Oh my God.
Take as much as you can, but
I think it's different now for for guys. I don't know. I don't work it like that anymore. That's why I had you on it, because I fucking love what you do. I mean, honestly, I saw you were at the Comedy Cabana, and then you did the room in Vegas at the Strat, the LA Comedy Club, and then you were some other place on the road, and I was like, God bless this dude, man, because you put it in, and what I was so happy about is that you produced that. It's on what.
Well, it's on Amazon as well. The Stand-Up Journeyman.
Stand-Up Journeyman, which I love, because that to me is what it's all about. Before the TikTok generation and the YouTubers, whatever, it was guys that you have on your series, The Journeyman, the guys who came, they literally came up through the They developed what we call an act.
Yeah.
And it was like, rock solid act. So when they were headliner, they were a headline. No one skipped the line back then.
Killers.
No one skipped the line. So, and that's what I respect about you, man, because you still grind it like that. I mean, sometimes it's like you're supposed to send out the avails on Tuesday, and I've been forgetting like the last 2 months. I've been like, I'm
terrible, to be honest with you, man. I'm the Fallout king. I randomly send avails here and there, but a lot of the stuff I get is because people had fallouts and they know I'm open, which is weird because then I end up not being open. But most of the work I get falls into my lap. I haven't gotten any new work in a while, but the good thing is I have another job. I work for the record label. I work for 800 Pound Gorilla Records. So about 4 years ago when I got that job, I could start saying no to the shit gigs.
Is that not the greatest feeling in the world?
Oh my God. Not having to drive, 12 hours round trip for $200 because you have no other option. Like you have to get that shitty $200.
I think I worked Sault Ste. Marie more than any other club, Looney Bins combined included. I think I worked Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And if you don't know where that is, they always do this in Michigan, is at the very, very top. And I think I've worked at more than any other club, and that is just hell.
Probably, yeah. And when it just, every time somebody brings up the UP, it makes me so mad because there's all of those casinos, what are they called? Island casinos.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of them. And this was a good 3 casino run 15 years ago. A guy named Chuck Johnson set it up.
Yes.
And it paid really well.
Yeah.
Like it paid like almost $3,000 for the week.
Yeah.
It paid amazing. And then someone came in and undercut them on the price, and someone came in and undercut them, and someone came in and undercut them. And I just did it the other day. It was $400. So that's what's wrong with it. For every booker that'll come in and do it for less, there's also comics that'll come in and do it for less. And I hate to say it, but I was one of those guys. But since I got the job, I can say no to that. But I mean, how crazy is it that when I started 27 years ago, and a headliner made about $200 for the average one-nighter.
Yeah.
It's 2022. It is 27 years later. The headliner makes about $200 for a headliner. What other profession has had zero increase?
But still, there's a line around the corner to get that job.
We can't wait. We're begging for it.
Yeah.
Everybody's begging for that shit money.
Do you remember the first place you worked? First week we met.
Oh man,
I think it was, and I'm pretty sure
bad at this.
It was Bismarck, North Dakota. Because I was like, maybe we met before. Because I think I taught you like I knew you, but you had you had a minivan.
Yeah.
And you had a minivan, and it was a room in Bismarck. You could barely see. It was just dark. You could barely see. You were fucking killing. But you didn't go to Minot with me for some reason. I don't know why. You were going someplace else. And you were killing. You were on your way someplace. I guess we met each other before, but I just remember that room particular. I go, what, Mike, what are you doing fucking featuring? I mean, what are you doing? What are you opening for me on a one-nighter?
Yeah, I think you're being nice because I'm so honest about where I'm at in comedy and who I am as a comic. I was a dog shit comic for the first 15 years. The stuff I've been doing in the last 5 years, I'm the most proud. Like I'm the best. You know what's ironic about not being able to get work now because I'm 50 and I'm getting aged out and all these things, and I also am lazy. Yeah. But I'm the best fucking comic I've ever been in 27 years. Like, dude, I'm starting to figure this shit out. I'm owning rooms and shit.
Okay,
you know.
Now, why is it? Because society and everything else has changed and you've gone along with it, or because you don't give a shit, or is it your writing? I mean, is it a like the perfect storm of things? Like in a sense of
I think it's the 10,000 hours thing, man. I've done it for so long. But what I've always felt about comedy is you don't get to a plateau and stay there. Some guys get good, stay that good forever. But I get better, man. Like I figure stuff out, man. Like every time I go up, I get a little tiny bit better. So
like in what way though? In what way?
I don't know. Like maybe it's just confidence. Maybe it's expounding my writing. Like I'll have a bit that like I improvise a lot of stuff on stage. Like I'm really good at just like making shit up.
Yeah.
And part of it is I used to smoke a lot of weed and I would forget my jokes.
Yeah.
So I like, they're staring at you. You got to think of something. So I would have to think of something funny.
Right.
So it was just survival, really. Stupidity combined with survival. But so I'm pretty good at it. And so I love it, man. Like the reason I still do it is like during COVID, I mean, 3 months into COVID, I was like, what am I? Because I've defined myself as a comedian.
Yes.
So about 3 months in, I was like, well, and then I thought, well, maybe comedy won't come back because they scared the shit out of us with this thing.
Yeah.
I thought people will never want to sit in a room together. And if I never get to do stand-up comedy again, like, what am I? Like, it was a serious crisis, you know?
I
used to complain about all the Looney Bins, all these complaints that are sneaking back in. It's like, I was mad at myself for complaining because there I was on the couch going, man, I'd kill for a Looney Bin gig right now. I would kill for that. And so since we've been back, I treasure every second I'm on that stage, man.
Yes.
And I'm trying so hard to get better. I'm trying to get less hacky. I'm trying to use less tricks. I'm trying to just
be more creative.
Fucking take advantage of the fact that I get to do something that like 1% of the world gets to do.
No, that we've always loved. I mean love, not just love like, hey, you love you, blah, blah, whatever. I mean an actual love.
It's an addiction,
a love for the game. I mean, it's like, you know, you can say what you, but once you get on that goddamn stage, I don't care how sick we've been. And the thing about it is, no matter what it is going on in life, especially now at where we are, whatever going on in your life, you can make it like a little, like a check, like make like list, like talk about this, that. And then when you go on stage, even though you may not have it down to a exact science or written it out perfect, you could take that and you can mold it, especially if you're at well, no one does the long weeks anyway, except for the Looney Bin, ironically.
Yeah.
But you can, that's the only good thing about those clubs is you can take an idea and mold it. So by Saturday night, second show, hopefully there are no drunks to fuck it up, that bit can come out pretty much golden.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly, that's true. You take that and you mold, like somebody pisses you off, you go, oh yeah. And you take that energy and no one ever could describe it, comics or whatever, is that, say, you know, you have for some reason, you get in those ruts where it's the same act and then, you know how
there's times where you don't come up with things.
But then for some reason, somebody pisses you off or whatever, and you take that on stage, it's like the crowd knows that it's authentic and it's real. And
that's
you get
the best it'll ever work sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes you can never get it to work as well as when you were just flying with it off the seat of your pants.
They feel it and you feel, and it's that energy and you go, okay, how can I reproduce this? If I can.
Right.
If I can.
And you're like, what about that worked? I got to remember to do that. Okay, I said that word that way. I got to say that. But you could be wrong. It could change the next crowd. That's what I love about
always. That's the boss right there. That's the boss.
What up, boss?
Yeah,
man?
that's the guy. That's White's dad. He owns the building.
Is he really?
Yeah, literally.
White's dad owns this place?
Yeah, literally.
That's hilarious.
It's Felling. That's Wyatt Felling.
That's hilarious.
That's his dad, yeah.
Oh.
So when dad leaves, Wyatt leaves.
Okay. He's got to walk him out.
Yeah, he's got to walk his dad. Hey, his dad's the godfather, man.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the truth. But it's the truth. I mean, it's like, that's why I wanted to ask you, like, was there ever a time, though, that you ever, because, I mean, I thought that everybody wanted the same goal and when you get in this business, but they don't. Some people, they've always just wanted to be a road comic. They just want to be. So did you ever just want to be like, go to LA or go to New York? Or I mean, what was your goal when you first started doing this shit?
I think in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, I'll probably end up on TV. I'll probably all of that shit. But I've been very honest about how good I am. I was dog shit.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get good at comedy, man. That was my thing. I was dog shit at it, but I could feel like little pieces. Every now and then I'd be okay at it. And I was like, I got to get to the point where I'm always okay. So to me, it was just, I want to get my 10,000 hours. My goal was just to get good at stand-up comedy. And to this day, if I could get paid just to do stand-up, I would do just stand-up. But it doesn't pay enough money to just do stand-up. You have to do something else. But obviously, I mean, who wouldn't want to be at Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer's level? Who wouldn't want to be doing friggin' stadiums, you know? Like, I would just love to have a room full of people that paid to see me on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know what that feels like.
Vince Moore said it best. He goes, I just want people to pay for valet parking to come see me.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Vince is another one. There's so many guys that are fucking amazing that the world's never going to know about because Vince, I don't know. He could be. I don't know. He might have a podcast. I don't know.
But, no, he didn't.
But, you know, I mean, you got to be good at Twitter. You got to be good at Instagram. You got to be good at all that shit. And I'm sorry, dude. I'm 50. I don't want to be that old guy. But like, if I could hire Wyatt to do it all for me, I'll just give him all my passwords. And
But I hope you don't siphon money out of your account and figure out a way. Like,
well, he probably would. That's the thing. They all know how to do that now, these kids.
Yeah.
Computers.
But listen, I don't begrudge those because it's a different time. Okay, I remember when we came up, I'm not being bad mouth, but I just remember, we worked for, were you ever a Phony Bone guy? Were you a Funny Bone guy?
You and I had a very similar trajectory on the Funny Bone.
Yeah. Okay. So do you remember the day when they used to just pay out of the ad? They used to pay Steve Rizzo out of the ass. I mean, he got more money, I think, than anybody. Steve Rizzo. Okay. So you take acts like his or whatever. Okay. And then
he murdered, right? Like he did well, right?
Yeah. I mean, so
I haven't seen him in a billion years.
Yeah. So, but we were coming up and we were hungry and we had no problem. Like, okay, like you said, I'll drive 12 hours for $150 to open up for somebody on a one nighter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do that. It's what I'm doing. I'll sleep in the front seat of a car.
That's why I had the minivan. I fucking lived in the minivan.
Yeah, man. But you had married and had kids, so your situation was a little bit different, though.
Yeah, I was really, I really needed to make it. That's the problem. I put too much on it. Like, oh shit, I got a wife and kids. Now I got to make it.
But in a way,
still haven't made it, by the way.
But didn't that help though? I mean,
as a drive, it's drive
because you knew you couldn't sleep in. Like, hey, I got people depending on me.
Yeah.
That's
why I got the minivan because it was like, and I had the minivan. That was a little before I had kids, but.
Wait a minute. So you took the minivan and your kids had to go to school with their mom in a regular car?
No, it was before they were born when I had the minivan. That was when I quit my job. Because I thought, you know what, the only way I'm going to take stand-up comedy seriously is if it's my only income. I have to make it my only income.
Yes.
So, and all I was down to doing was I was just part-time driving for a Toyota dealership, and then I was doing morning radio, but I was doing morning radio for free. I was doing third mic for free just because they would let me do it. And I'm like, hey, I want to get good at comedy. I want to get good at improvisation. I ain't even saying the word improvisation, but... Yeah, so I forgot what I was talking about because I can't talk. But.
I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah, well, obviously I caught it. See, that's what I'm very honest about how shitty I am.
Well, okay, what was the turning point though for you to realize, hey, I'm not that good, but now I'm getting better, or your aha moment?
You know what it was is, and I think not to compare myself to Louis C.K., but a lot of people have this moment where they just go. Man, fuck trying to make the clubs happy. Fuck that club manager. Fuck that guy. Fuck these crowds. Like, I don't have to do what I think they want. I should do what I want. And I just started just being myself. And I think, the whole finding your voice thing, people say it takes 10 years. It took me like 18 to find my voice. Because the problem was for the first big chunk of my career is I was being what I thought a comedian was supposed to be and not being me. And now I got so sick of trying to be what I thought a comedian was. I thought, well, why don't I just try to be me? And holy shit, if that isn't what you're supposed to do. And now it works so much better.
But I also think you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. It was where we started. I mean, because it was like, to me, if you were a Midwestern comic, right, no matter how good you thought you were or whatever, right, the big names will always come in, or somebody from LA, New York come in, and you're always playing second fiddle to them. And I don't know about you, but I'd be like, oh, fuck, I wish I had to act like that, or they have a different perspective, whatever. And it was because they were in places that allowed them to be themselves. I mean, like, you can say what you want to say about the guy, but like somebody like an Eddie Griffith or Corey Holcomb, I mean, how they came up and where they were at, being themselves and talking the way they do with that open freeness. Because I came up in a way like, hey, you can't say this, or you never worked this club. Oh, okay. And so it was a little hacky. So it was like, okay, I just want to be like, everybody likes me. And I'm afraid to stray off course, too much off course. Because I've had a couple times they go, hey, could you not do that joke by a club owner? Okay, yeah. You try to, and it's like, yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, but an artist would have said, fuck you, that's my joke.
And that's what I should have said.
But we didn't know. But we needed the $200.
We needed the work. We needed the work.
The $200.
And yeah, so
like. I hate to interrupt you, but I'll give you the perfect example of that is Andrew Schultz is murdering it right now with crowd work. I'm fucking great at crowd work. I hate to say it, but I'm great at crowd work. But I never do it because clubs used to get mad at me for doing it. We hire you for your jokes. We don't hire you to make fun of your crowd. I got fired from a Comedy Zone gig in Florida because I made fun of British people.
Vero Beach?
No, it was the Vincentes or whatever.
Oh, I got kicked out of that club too. They don't let me go back.
Fuck that guy. Yeah. Fuck that guy. I hope he dies of ass cancer. But yeah, fuck him. He got mad. I made fun of. I have this whole stupid chunk about British people, and there happened to be a table of British people. So of course I directed directly at them and make it look like it's improv. And he apparently. So the next morning I see that Comedy Zone's looking for a headliner at that gig, and I was like. So I emailed him, and I go, what happened? Did I get fired? And he texts back, yeah, you got fired. He emailed me back. And he wants you to leave the hotel. And I said, well, first of all, he's fucking paying me. Second of all, I'm not leaving the fucking hotel. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm staying here till the end of the weekend. If he doesn't want me, that's fine. And he said, yeah, you made fun of his audience. That's what he got mad about. I go, those fucking same British people bought 4 T-shirts from me. They loved it. I made their fucking vacation. So he was just an out-of-touch fucking asshole that didn't understand that that wasn't even crowd work. That was a bit that I just happened to be able to aim directly at the people that the bit is about.
Yes.
That was that thing there. But yeah, it's so frustrating when they stifle your art. But again, if you want to get laughs in the Midwest, you got to do a chunk about drinking. You got to do there's all this. You got to talk about fucking. There's so many things.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it works, and I'm trying to get paid, and I want to come back, so I kind of have to conform a little bit. And that's not what art is supposed to be, man.
But you can't explain to people like, hey, you can't say I'm an artist because they almost laugh you out of that. But and then you sit there and then all the stuff they tell you not to do, a big name headliner that you go up and, hey, just do 15 and stay with blah, 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 and open up for him. And you might not get a chance to, if there is a green room, you might not get a chance to go to the green room because that person is in there. And they come on stage and you go, wow, the shit you told me not to do, he's doing it.
He's literally doing everything you just told me not to do.
All the shit you told me not to do, they're doing it. And wow, they're getting big laughs and wow. And they're getting paid at least 5 times more than me.
The hypocrisy in comedy, the fucking double standards and shit, man, bugged the shit out of me. But yeah, that's one of them. Oh, absolutely. You don't be dirty. Don't talk to the crowd. And then you watch somebody murder doing that in the headliner spot. You're like, I don't understand what you want me to do. And I think some of it is they tell young comics don't talk to the crowd because they fucking suck at it.
Yeah.
But if somebody's good at it, let them fucking talk to the crowd.
Hey, to me, it's trial and error. Hey, I just wish there was a club owner who fucking stood up for the comic. Where like, it maybe, well, okay, case example, me and you worked the Cleveland Improv, in the Improv, the Hard Rock in Cleveland. Remember the first night, there was these motherfuckers, man, in the front row. Why? I don't know if you're listening. Why? In the front row, and they're just being assholes. I mean, and so we're making it known that it's not really funny what we're going through right now. Right. And you said, and I just remember you going, because she was a cunt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
As a joke. And then it gets cantankerous, and then those people end up getting up and leaving and walking out. And then the manager comes over.
No, I called her a cunt after she left.
Yeah.
Because she was heckling. She was just straight up yelling shit at me.
Yeah.
Like, and we're at a casino. I'm expecting her to be removed. Like, this is how this works. And she finally just decided to leave. I don't think it had anything to do with me. I think she just left. And then I go, oh, I think we're all glad she left because, boy, was she a fucking cunt.
Yes.
Like I completely,
just like that.
Sarcastically,
Exactly like that.
I said it in a silly way. I wasn't like, that fucking cunt, you know? Like there's a difference in how you say it.
Yes.
And now they have the Mike Merryfield cunt rule at the fucking, at that club.
Now, have you been back?
I think I was back one time.
You went back, but I didn't.
Maybe
I
once.
didn't even do that. I was being nice.
Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I haven't gone back. You know what? I lost a lot of work, and you knew me during this period, but after my divorce, I started writing material about it, and I started like kind of bitching about women on stage, but in a pretty funny way.
No, it was funny. It's just that here's the thing about it. Women, man, as long as you kissing their ass, they love you. But once you tell the truth about them, once you tell the truth, and here's
tell me about it.
Once you start telling the truth about women, and you can be as honest about it, and it's the truth from situations that happen to you, then they'll start bitching and go to the club owner. Well, he can't say this. Really? It's fucking true. How about, when you talk about, hey, I've had a waitress say this to me. I remember in Baltimore at the old Slapsticks. She was telling me how, like, girls would get drunk and they hook up with a dude and they tell their friends, and their friends are like, well, just say he raped you. The girl told me that. Said her friends say, just say he raped you. I mean, you're going to ruin somebody's life by saying some shit like that?
Wow, a woman that's willing to ruin a man's life? I've never heard of such a thing. What a weird concept. You mean a woman would have no thought for how her actions affect a man? That's crazy. That's unheard of in this country. It's ridiculous. Sir, stand up straight. I'm so sick of this guy. Wish you could see him.
Oh, I know that guy.
How is his head 1.5 feet in front of his torso? That's how much he's leaned over.
He's going to come through, and he's going to. He passes here almost all the time. And one of these days, he's going to be like, "I've had enough of these motherfuckers." Oh,
that's right. They can hear. I forgot they can hear. I'm sorry, sir. I apologize.
Yeah, they're going to hear us. I mean, honestly,
look, she's a lawyer. She's like, "Sir, I can represent you. I think you have a case against this asshole in the fishbowl."
And you have no idea how many times I go, no, the best was during the Black Lives Matter rally, whatever, right? Seriously. So like, if this glass ever broke, we'd be done, right? I mean, we're done. I mean,
Well, one of us is done.
so
Two of us. I forgot about Wyatt.
So Wyatt was like, hey, come down and, just stand in front of them and just, just come down. And I said, okay, man, okay. And it was like, I was so conflicted because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was coming down. And then he told me, not to come, everything, blah, blah. But I just remember thinking, part of me, this is the Gemini in me, was like, yeah, man, finally, stick it to the man, blah, blah, black. But then I thought, okay, just don't break this window. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
everybody else, like Huntington Bank, they can afford it.
What you're doing, just not this one.
Yeah, not this one.
I work here, so it's like, exactly. I think you can get beat. Black Lives Matter, and I work here. So there is that.
Yeah, you were my guy. I had a whole plan in place.
You did, man.
I had to. I'm not gonna lie. I had to bring some diversity here because it was. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, seriously, why? Here's a part I was like, it touched me because at the time, we've known each other when you were 18, right? 18, 19?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was, you know how you get older, you go, okay, this shit is going to, I feel like Black Lives Matter now was a summer project for white kids to get extra credit. I really do. It seems like they go, okay, we're going to cure 400 years of oppression in half a summer.
Let's make signs. Yeah. That'll fix it, right? If we just all make signs.
If we take that one lady off the syrup bottle, it's all
that's
cured.
It, right? Yeah. It's over now? Yeah. If we take her off, are we cool? What if we never show reruns of All in the Family? Does that make us even?
Are we even now? Are we good?
Cool?
So I'm like, a little jaded, but why? I from his text, he goes, come on, man, we got to show this city that we're. I'm like, this motherfucker really believes in this shit. It's like I gotta go down, right? So I was on my way down.
I didn't. I believed in not getting the windows broken.
He just wanted you to protect his building. Yeah,
that's all I wanted to do.
I was coming down though, and I got as far as I was about to the zoo, and they had blocked the road, and I remember why I go, no, we're good now. I go, oh, okay. And I turned around and went back, but I was like, this motherfucker really believes in that kind of, no, it's America. We're gonna fight what's wrong, and these people are gonna. I'm like, man,
yeah, but he's a rich white kid. The truth is, he's like, we got to put some black people in front of this glass. If we don't have blacks 100%. In front of this glass, this could go horribly wrong. 100%. My dad owns this place, and I can't let these windows get broken. I mean, it's the most obvious thing in the world, but you're like, he really believes in it.
Yeah, like how delusional.
No, he's just trying to.
Well, you are delusional sometimes. I mean, okay, basically, all Black Lives Matter was, and all Me Too is the civil rights movement and the women's lib movement. That's all it is. It's just renamed. Like anything else in life, it's a circle, but they just rename it.
Well, the problem is you put a hashtag on it and you think that's going to fucking help. Like Twitter and Instagram's going to help something. You have to get out on the streets and do real things.
Yeah.
Like the idea in 2022 that you're an activist because you make posts on the internet about things, you're not shit. You're just an idiot on your phone. Like it doesn't matter what you're saying both ways. Like I don't care what you're saying. If you're doing it on a phone, it doesn't matter, dude. You got to do it in real life. You got to live it. This idea that I'm a good person. Check out my Instagram feed. Look at all those positive hashtags I use. Well, that's not going to get you into heaven, dude.
Hashtag grateful.
Yeah, hashtag this, hashtag that,
Well, you know what? Honestly, but it's like this, man. I mean, I look at it like this. I blame the Discovery Channel because before Discovery Channel, it was the History Channel. And they showed all the atrocities. They showed the civil rights marches and the fucking dogs being sicked on. So you go, okay, now that's racism. All right. But then since they become Discovery Channel, all they show is basically UFOs. I think their philosophy was, listen, it's easier to convince people that UFOs and aliens exist than racism ever did.
Well, racism real. Let's show them something that's not. We're getting them all worked up with the real shit.
Trust me, they'll believe aliens are more real than racism. So it's like, keep people like, oh no, racism, that's just back in the day. It never existed. So I guess now they go, you know what? It's easier to tell people that aliens and flying saucers exist other than racism does.
Yeah, they believe the world's flat, but they don't believe racism is still a thing,
So it's comical in a way, but still it just grinds my gears.
The problem is we have billions of people. I mean, and we're not all going to agree on everything. That's the problem. And we try to get like a general consensus from people on things, but certain people aren't going to give a shit.
You can't get 4 people to agree on a movie.
You can't get everyone in the world to agree. And I'm so tired of the left and the right and all this shit. And like they've got my mom. And I'm not on the right. I'm not a Trump guy. I think Trump was hilarious. I think he's hilarious. Great. For all these, snooty fucking political people. And all of a sudden this big dick allegedly not such a big dick comes in there. But he was, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of a black headliner. Like everyone else is okay.
Yes.
And then the black headliner gets on stage and it's like, oh shit, this is real. Now we're really doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you would see like a D.L. Hughley or one of these big, high intensity black dudes on a show that's like me. That's what he reminded me of. Because it's like, oh, he's different than everyone. This is completely different what he's doing. And his level of not give a shit is amazing. But it's not, I don't think it's ultimately good for the country. I don't think, I would rather he not run again. I don't think we need to be divided anymore. Let's just move on. It was an experiment.
More divided. More divided. Yeah. But if he wasn't running for president, at a party, he'd be fucking hilarious to listen to. Like, this guy's cocky as fuck, but he's funny as fuck. This old dude is fucking killing me.
Yeah.
This old dude.
He makes fun of women. He calls women fat and ugly. Only Rosie O'Donnell. like how funny is that? That's a great line. Like, not all women, just this fat pig, Rosie O'Donnell. Like, that's a great bit, man.
The fact that you can call a dude's wife ugly and whatever, and he still supports you. Right. Ted Cruz got to be the biggest cuck in the world, man.
Well, I want to know, like, when he made fun of the handicap guy, although I hate to say it, but I have friends with disabilities. Right, buddy, Ryan Niemiller. Sometimes I'm like, Ryan Niemiller, he's got the, you know what I mean?
Yes,
it's just a way of explaining without saying he's handicapped. He doesn't have, I'm like, Ryan Niemiller. And I hope Ryan would laugh at that if he ever saw it. But
of course,
Ryan's great. I love Ryan. But
come on.
But it's like,
we all do.
Yeah.
But that's, to me, that's old school shit. I mean, what we talk about, that's old school shit. I mean, granted, now some things I'm glad to let, because I mean, for some reason, you always found funny the little idiosyncrasies between, stereotypically black comics and white comics. How black comics, they'll just get that kind of like, you start talking about somebody gay or whatever, they go, oh, the Lord don't like this shit. But yet still they think, it's funny. Talking about somebody retarded.
Right. You can say retarded, but
But they think that's funny. You come on say, man, this motherfucker hilarious. And they go, Jesus, hey man, Lord don't like that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, that's where you draw the line?
Yeah, you're very selective about what's funny.
Yeah, that's where you draw the line. So that, to me, and that's why I always said, honestly, at least it used to be, I always thought Mexican crowds were the best. Because they listen like a white audience and laugh like a black audience.
Oh, that's funny. I like black. I've always thought black audiences, because I feel that I'm very authentic, and I think black people have a very good ability to sniff out bullshit.
Yes,
because of racism and because of the history. They know bullshit a mile before it's there.
Yeah.
So when you walk up on stage and you're not, and I've been that guy in front of black audiences where
I've been that guy for black audiences.
Yeah, it's like it's not good, but if you own it and you're funny in the first like minute or so, one of my albums was at the Comedy Zone, or the the Stardome, and there was like 9 white people in the whole fucking place, and I made it one of my albums, one of the best shows I've ever had. But yeah, I just think it's because you're good at sniffing out bullshit.
No, the best, man, and I'm gonna put his name out there because I hate when people don't put it. I don't mean no disrespect to him, but it was me and it was Cleveland Jackson. And we were in Dayton, Ohio, and we were opening up for God damn, what's his name? He had the phone call things out of Birmingham. Not Roy Wood, but the other dude. Forget his name. Anyway, so it was all black audience, and so I think I headlined like the Wednesday and Thursday, and then he came in on the Saturday, and I mean I did okay. My act, at the time was, it's kind of whitish. And Kevin Bozeman said it best. I go, man, how come black crowds don't like me? And Kevin Bozeman said, it's because you talk about Pearl Jam. That's why.
Oh, sorry. Look, that should have been an easy one to figure out.
So I'm on stage and I survived. It's kind of like that first guy that went all 15 with Mike Tyson. You go, fuck it.
Somebody did it. Somebody did it.
I'm pretty good, right?
You lost, but you still won. I made it. I'm alive.
So Cleveland Jackson goes up. And I literally see him shrink. Like, he started out, how's everybody doing? And, say something funny. And, man, by the end of it, I think he did 15. I swear, man, he was about 4'2" when it was all over.
That's so funny.
You guys want to see PT? Cricket? I mean, dude, I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
It hurts, man. It's the most painful thing. And, like, I tell every new comic, despite what audience you're in front of, if you're not confident, you better be good at pretending you are.
Yeah.
That's all it is when you go up, audiences don't know shit about stand-up, but they know if the guy in front of them looks nervous. They know if the guy in front of them is
they can smell it. We're
delivering
animals.
A joke like he's reading it, or he rehearsed it and memorized it.
Well, but, okay, there's something to be said. And I always say this, like, there's something to be said about somebody, because I remember watching Taylor Tomlinson. We were in Tucson, and I remember when she went up, and she didn't change her act from Friday first show to Saturday last show. Not one word, not one inflection, but it was tight. It worked. And bam, 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 pop, 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 pop. And I just remember watching going, yeah, she's going to be big. And, she is. But I knew it. I saw her go, she's going to be big. But she didn't change. And hey, it worked. I mean, like I said, not hey, where you got? I mean, bam, 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 same thing. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing to be said for that. It really is. You got it tight, you're ready. So when TV calls, whatever, bam, you're already ready. Okay, it's not my cup of tea because my thing is always, and I think everybody works different. My thing now, though, is, man, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to go over my stuff before a show, all my jokes, and I don't know what order I'm going to put them in because I want to be surprised. So if I'm surprised, then you're going to be surprised because it's going to like, oh shit, this is not rehearsed some shit. And I can't act like the waitress didn't just drop that,
right.
Okay. Or this person didn't say that. What the fuck did you say, motherfucker? Or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so sometimes bits come from, and I just think it's, unless you're getting ready for a special or the TV, then don't get me wrong, still have it work where it's working, something goes into something, but your brain as a comic, it's always boom, boom, boom. Okay, I gotta get this. You can't, it doesn't always have to be speeded up, but it doesn't have to be all for rote. And so I like to go with that feel. You know what I mean? I just remember, and I was in Tucson, I remember the dude bought it. It was a fucking, I hate this shit more than anything. When they have those the animal, what they call it, support animals. Yeah. It was a German Shepherd.
Damn.
And I was like,
yeah, and your people with the history and whatnot. Any other dog, we might not have had a problem here.
So I go, hey man, what happened to the German Shepherds from the war? Like in Germany, like after the war was over, you can't just have these racist ass dogs just roaming the countryside all willy nilly. And I swear to God, I bent down to tie my shoe, and this motherfucker rose up and his ears poked up like that. After I said, I go, what the fuck? Like he heard me say that. Yeah. He was down like this, and then I said, what happened to those dogs in the war? And the dog,
and he's like, you mean my dad? You mean my cousin? I heard about that. Oh, okay. Right. I think they moved. I think all those dogs moved to Florida. Just like a lot of the Germans did, or Russians, or whatever they were. I don't know anything about history.
Well, if you think about it, those dogs begot those other German Shepherds, which became the civil rights movement. I mean, it had to be. It's 20.
They all got to be related. They all come from wolves.
Yeah, they're 20 years. There's 20 years in between those two movements. So, I mean, they had to breed with. So they had to bring them over, right? They had to bring them over and breed with some other German Shepherds.
Yeah, they did it on purpose, clearly.
And to know to attack like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why I think your people get into pit bulls as much, because it's like, well, if they ever want to have a dog fight, fucking, we're gonna be ready next time. You know what I mean? If they let that dog's gonna have to deal with my pit bull this time. You know. I should stop.
Where'd the Rottweiler come in from? I
don't know. I forgot about the Rottweiler in Dobermans.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Dobermans anymore.
Okay.
Although Butch Bradley does.
It goes like this. It goes German Shepherd. Then all of a sudden, the Doberman came. He was supposed to be the bad motherfucker. The Doberman. He was sleek.
He was Magnum PI too, by the way. Okay. Magnum PI inspired the Doberman, which in hindsight, he did the Doberman, short shorts, and mustache. Like in hindsight, 3 of the gayest things ever. Like, I don't know how as a country we followed that man.
He was a single dude with a Ferrari with short shorts.
Well, and his best friend flies a helicopter or whatever.
Black. Yeah.
I didn't
TC?
see that part.
Right? When TC?
I fucking love that show.
Right? Who didn't like
BJ and the Bear and all those stupid ass shows.
Okay, this is my best friend. How do you have a monkey in a fucking truck?
I think, wasn't that after the who's the famous Western actor that did the movies Every Which Way, but
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood did all the ones. I think it was after the
Which Way Is Up.
Yeah, they were like, "Wow, the monkey was so successful in a movie. How about a sitcom where he rides around in a truck with a monkey?" Like, you know, that monkey was blowing him at at truck stops and stuff.
Loves.
Yeah. He's probably selling that monkey ass at truck stops. He's like, "Breaker 19, who wants to get their dick sucked by a chimpanzee?" Right? I might write that down. It might be my new bit. my new BJ and the Bear bit, just in time. It only took me 30 years to think of it.
Nobody's going to get it.
Nobody will get it.
Second show, nobody's going to get it.
How about that? Like, I still know I'm not still an old headliner because I'm smart enough to update my references. Yes. I used to have a Craigslist joke, which is now a Facebook Marketplace joke. So I do evolve, all right? It's still the same fucking joke I've been doing for 10 years. But what I love is the spark is when you think of something new, and I'll just go ahead and tell you what it is. But I had a hernia surgery a couple of years ago, and I was just, my kids like asked me how it was, and I was like, my front hurts. And I was like, nobody ever says their front hurts. So just on stage now, I just say, hey guys, I got to apologize. I'm not 100%. My front hurts today. And then of course they're quiet and silent, like, fucking what? Like, wasn't it weird? Nobody ever says their front hurts. I'm trying to get it going. I want more people to say that their front hurts. Because when you say your back hurts, people have more questions for you, or they don't have more questions. They're like, yeah, okay. Who gives a shit? In fact, they don't want to hear about your back. They don't want to hear about your fucking back problems.
Yeah.
But when you say your front hurts, they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, what? What did you say?
Maybe front
Your
parts.
hurts?
Maybe front parts.
I just say front. And then they say, what part of your front? And I say, just the general front region. And then the end of the joke is I say, I wish I had a job so I could call in sick to work and say that I was calling in sick because my front hurts. Like, I can't come in today, boss. My front is killing me. It's just in that I'm just trying to think of more tags. And then I say, yeah, I got in a car accident when I was 22. My front's been fucked up ever since. I can tell you 3 days before it rains. That's how fucked up my front is. So I'm trying to just add tags to it, but it's so exciting when you find something new.
Yes.
And it's working great. And I know nobody's ever done it. I've never heard anybody do a my front hurt bit.
I think it's hilarious.
I'm already thinking shirts that just say my front hurts, ask me why. I'm already thinking merchandise.
Okay, so how do you go about your writing process? Like, what do you do?
I just think of most of it comes up on stage. Like, I may occasionally have ideas that I put down on my phone. But you know that second voice that you develop a bunch of years in where you can be delivering material, but in your head, you're like, when I get home, I'll do laundry first, and then I'll feed the dog.
Yes.
And then, next week I'm at the Looney Bin. I know how shitty I feel when I go there. And you're delivering material to an audience.
Yes.
Well, I can live in that world. I can be delivering something and be thinking 3 jokes ahead. And I can actually be like thinking of material while I'm doing jokes. It's so crazy. That's what I love. That's why I'm so addicted to it. And why I love it so much now is because I'm getting to this point where, and bro, I'm just going to say it. When I work Vegas and I take edibles, I'm the best goddamn comedian in the world. I can see shit coming 3 miles away. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm amazing when I'm on edibles.
That T-shirt scared me at first, and then I was like, okay. He had the Nazi with the thing.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the dog. How great is that?
Yeah, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
I wonder if that guy's ears were ringing. I wonder if his hoops were ringing.
His clippers were ringing. But here, check this out. The only time I've ever came close to doing drugs was in Vegas. I did edibles.
That's right. You've never done anything.
Yeah. So I went to this dispensary, right? And I said, hey man, it's my first time here. And the guy was like, I can tell. You can't say that.
Yeah,
so
nobody says that.
And he looked like a Wiz Khalifa, which is perfect for me, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, first time. He goes, give me these pineapple thing. He goes, tell you what, first time, just do half of one. And blah, blah. I said, okay, gotcha. I had half one. I didn't feel anything. I go,
Classic.
So I took 3, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
have you never heard other comedians tell these jokes?
But I was like, So,
it's just
okay.
him.
But this is how dorky I am. It's a true story. I take 3. So I'm on the 34th floor of the Signature Towers had a MGM.
At Brad's.
So I'm thinking it's gonna be like on Friday with and I'm gonna start doing like Chris Tucker and like, oh shit, like when Hector gave me that shit. So I swear to God, I locked myself in my room. I locked it like that.
The balcony door so you didn't jump out?
Not the balcony, but I don't have a balcony. You get a balcony?
Dude, you don't get a balcony?
Because you're white.
No. You just ask them for the balcony, and sometimes they'll give it to you for free, and sometimes it's an extra $80 for the week. It's fucking worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, anyway, I fucked so many chicks on that balcony, 36 floors up, just banging bitches. There's nothing like that.
That's the conversation I've been wanting to have for the past 10 years.
I like a whore that's not afraid of heights. That's what I like. That's the ideal woman. God. Someone will blow you 35 floors up. That's a keeper in my book.
So I take 3, right? I lock myself in and I go, and I go, okay. And I'm waiting for it, right? So I swear to God, I'm at the desk, watch TV, and I thought my elbow went like this. Mm-hmm. And I went, and I got in my bed and I curled up like this. And that's the end of that story.
So you wasted the buzz. You wasted
Basically,
it.
yeah. So
You're in Vegas, dude. You should have went out and looked at the lights. Like you should have ate food. Food would have tasted better.
I thought I would have jumped out, so I didn't. I mean, seriously. So yeah. So
you do drink occasionally. You have your mojitos, right?
Yeah. Oh, me and him worked together in Toledo. Luckily, the hotel literally was 200 feet away. Mm-hmm. I think I had no less than 6 mojitos that night. Yeah. And to a guy that doesn't drink, the first sip, I got a buzz. Boy, I think it's one of the first times ever I was on stage and I was like, uh-oh. And I was kind of buzzy. I mean, I was like that fighter that's like this, the champion's been rocked. And I literally crawled back to my hotel and I remember throwing up like at 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
that's a lot of mojitos.
But it's mojito, so it comes out all fresh and minty. So I threw up.
At least your breath was solid. We were talking about the Funny Bones. I was at the point with the Funny Bones where I was headlining off nights and then opening for big names on the weekends at the Bones. And then occasionally I would get headline weeks in Toledo and a couple of the shittier funny bones. Not to be that guy, but the lower end bones. And then I would try to get headline dates, but Stroop back in the day would be like, you don't have any credits. I can't. It's hard for me to do it, but it's also hard for me to middle you because you're making it hard for these people that are famous but not fucking very.
Or
great.
they come out from L.A.
From L.A.
You don't get that with New York comics.
New York comics.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, I don't
No,
think
they're great.
I think Pete Correale, I went in there thinking I was going to blow Pete Correale away. It's like, you're not going to blow Pete Correale away. He's a New York comic. He's more polished than anybody.
New York comics, period. If they come from that New York, Boston area, yeah, good luck.
And they're usually cooler anyway, so you didn't and that's the thing, people, I used to headhunt all the time with the Funny Bones. You put me with so-and-so that plays third player on some TV show, I'm going to try to fuck that guy's world up. I want a headline, I remember Godfrey said to me, we did like 2 shows together, and after the second show, he's like, God damn, you're good. He's like, are they like starting to headline you at all the Funny Bones? I'm like, fucking no. No, yeah. I barely feature them. And he's like, they're not grooming. It seems like they'd be grooming you to headline. I'm like, you'd think so. But again, Godfrey's old school too. So he's still thinking the old business model. Like, if you're good, you get promoted.
Exactly.
You don't get promoted if you're good now.
I also remember when I just happened to be listening, I think, to Sirius Satellite Radio at the time. They were interviewing Godfrey, and he said he was at, I think it was the Virginia Beach Funny Bone. I think Tim Northern was featured, or,
I love Tim Northern.
I know. And he goes, I think at the end of the week, or during the week sometime, Tim said, hey, man, I'm, just kind of like, taking it easy on you. And Godfrey was like, what? He goes,
Godfrey of all people.
Yeah, I love them both, but goddamn, Tim. And
I want to feel like Tim was fucking around.
I don't know, but this has come from Godfrey's mouth, but it's on the radio, so who knows? Okay, yeah. But I remember hearing it, and Godfrey was like, "What?" He goes, "Man, I'm going up at 1 a.m. after people like a tell and this and that." So we take it easy on what?
Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing about it, man. Their material is so it's fucking gutty and it's fucking well written. I mean,
feel like Tim might have been saying that sarcastically.
I don't know.
Like when a guy murders after you, it's like, I left you a little some. Apparently, I warmed him up for you. It's like saying I cracked open that pickle jar before you actually opened. I loosened him up for you. That's why you did that well.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, like I said, it was Godfrey telling the story, so who knows? Who knows?
Godfrey likes to embellish, but
who knows? Who knows?
I mean, that's what comedy is embellishment. My God, that's why when they started taking comedy so seriously a bunch of years ago, I was like, what are you doing?
Well, you know why?
We're literally not supposed to be taken seriously.
Well, you know why though? Because we're the only ones that are attainable to touch. If you think about it, okay, the spoken word is the most, it's more abrasive. Okay, with a song, you can get away with Christine 16. They're not fucking a 16-year-old girl.
But it's kids in music.
Yeah, but
there's plenty of pedos in music.
Yes, okay.
I'm not even talking about Michael Jackson.
And no one say anything about it. But the spoken word, and we're the only ones that are at this level where they can go, okay, we can get this guy. All right, because we're up there alone. We don't have a band with us. We don't have a melody. It's us speaking the spoken word.
Yeah.
And that's why they can come after us, because we're basically, I always say we're the Navy SEALs of comedy, man. Everything else is like all entertainment is pretty much military, but we're the Navy SEALs in that. Hey, we're up there alone, bro.
Right. We got no help.
Yeah, we get no help. So if we say something piss you off, we're the only ones that when it's all over, you can wait after the show. Go, I want to talk to you, funny man. You can't to a band.
Well, Jim Norton brought up an amazing point one time. He goes, how come an actor can like portray a rape in a movie and get a fucking Oscar for it, but if I write a joke that's anti-rape, I get canceled for it? Like, how does that make any sense? Like, I'm not up there saying rape is rad, dude. We should all do it. By the way, it's a bad time to be heard outside the window here, but the idea of censorship in any way, it just bugs the shit out of me. But I conform to it.
It's great. To me, it's a great thing about living in Indiana or one of those tough ass states where they cancel. How the fuck we can get canceled in Indiana?
I gotta have something for you to cancel me.
How the fuck? What? You can't go to a monster truck show?
Such a touch and go time in America. I mean, if I had $1 for every gender there is right now, I'd have $2. That's the joke that's gonna get me canceled right there. So that joke, I've done that all over the country. I did that joke in North Carolina at a theater and got half a standing ovation in the middle of the show.
Wow.
They loved it. I did it in St. Paul. Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's, by the way, it's a joke whether I tell it in North Carolina or St. Paul. It's a joke both places.
Yes.
But one place is like,
and to me, they don't hear. They don't hear.
Listen to the joke.
Listen to the joke. But at the same time, you know what though? And I'm all for hey, everybody, but at the same time, to me, it's the men transitioning women or the men trans that are always the problem. If you notice,
well, the sports.
No,
I mean, yeah,
okay.
you're into sports,
but
so yeah.
lesbians never bitch about shit. I think, okay, but for trans men, and not a joke. I said I'm so old school. I remember when if you had a penis, you were considered a man. Nothing.
That's a great joke.
But yeah, I said it and I got nothing. I go, really? You motherfuckers gonna really?
Yeah.
Gonna
Where did you say that?
Here. I was out here at Helium.
Okay. Oh, at Helium.
Yeah,
okay.
I said that and I was like, fuck you guys. Because I go, that's a good. But anyway, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if you look at where all the controversy is, always men transitioning women, all right, wanting to be in sports, change the bathrooms, right? Lesbians never say shit. The only thing they say is, hey, could you get our friend out of jail? That's all we want.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever like the actual group. It's just people like on Twitter that are like trying to fight for him. It's never the actual group on Twitter. Like it's never the actual group that like the joke is about or there's like a group of people on Twitter that are like trying to fight for them that are
call them Captain Save-A-Hole, basically.
Yeah, it's I'm doing this on behalf of.
Yeah,
but
yeah, because I'm a freedom fighter.
Some would say that's what Black Lives Matter is, but whatever. I'm not trying to get canceled or anything, but some would say it's very similar. You know.
See,
you might have to edit these parts
no,
out.
Fuck that.
See, that's the thing. I want to say, like, I love gallows humor. I love the worst possible thing.
But I like that, and I hate that. That's like now I see stuff now, and like I said, man, I like. Remember in the very beginning when it was called alternative comedy, right? And there was a big thing about it. I liked it in the sense of, hey, these guys are going up and just. You know, it's not the traditional blah, 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 blah. And I like that. Mm-hmm. All right. And now that has woven its way into the mainstream. And so now it's like, but like I said, I had to adjust my funny. Like, okay, is that funny? Okay, is that funny? And the only thing that keeps me like, okay, this is funny, is it's always Dave Attell. Yeah. To me, Dave Attell is always, okay, this is funny. Everybody agrees it's funny.
I think the better, another good barometer is Louis C.K.
To me, he's the greatest. I don't care what says. He's the greatest, right? And of all time, he's definitely to me, he's top 3 all time.
Yeah, it's him and Burr
and Pryor.
I was too young for Pryor. I didn't really get a lot of it.
You didn't get that shit because you ain't black, bro.
Okay, well then, how do you explain his success? Because he's successful because us whites embraced him, okay?
Because it was the original white guilt.
You guys can't get over without that white guilt, all right? And that's got to make you feel bad a little bit. No, but
go ahead, go back Louis C.K. because I'm with you on that one.
What's so amazing about him is he talks about all the deep dark shit. He's like, you know, he talked about how in the Saturday Night Live monologue, how in the 70s everybody was a little racist. Like it was just
that wasn't even. I'm talking about the pedophile bit. Yeah. How he got away with that?
He was doing it.
Man, that to me, I go when it was over. I go, that's why he's the greatest. That's why he makes the big money.
Yep, exactly.
Because to do that material without saying a curse word and to get that deep in it and still get laughs and know where they're going to get offended and know how to come. Hey, well, okay, no, for them. He goes, it must be great for them, not for man.
Me. Yeah.
But how he did like, okay, here's how racist we were in the 70s. If you see like a pizza place owned by a black woman, you go, oh.
Yeah.
How great is that?
So we were racist subtly. I think that was at the bit. He said they were subtly racist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that he got canceled for what he did or whatever, like quote unquote canceled. And then he came back and the album, especially came back with was like, dude, do you know you got canceled?
Which
do you know
one,
you shouldn't?
Which one?
The one he just won the fucking Grammy for.
No, which one? Okay, there's Sorry and there's Sincerely.
He won it for the
Sincerely.
Is the first one Sincerely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
he won
God.
it for the first one. It was brutal. It was great. I was like, did his management tell him what happened to his career? Because he's saying shit in this that could get him recanceled.
Dude, let me tell you something.
I loved it, man.
I watch him and he's literally one of the ones I want to throw my notebook away. I go, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, dude, there's so many guys like that where I see him and I'll be 10 minutes in and I'll just be like, well, I'm a fraud. I'm not doing anything up there. I'm doing nothing. Like,
okay, here we go.
So many.
Before we got here. For you right now, either top five either right now or of all time. Top of your head.
It's always rotating, but I gotta throw Tell in there because I've listened to Skanks for the Memories, that album 73 million times.
Yes.
Patrice O'Neal's in there. Elephant in the Room is one of the greatest comedy specials ever produced. Nobody would have thrived more in the hashtag Me Too and the transgender and the Black Lives Matter. Nobody would have thrived more than Patrice motherfucking O'Neal. What a tragedy that we didn't get to hear his opinions on all of those things. He would have murdered it. He'd be the biggest comic in the world, and he'd be the guy that's going against the grain. That's what I always loved about him. But I got to throw Brian Regan in there. Did I throw Regan in there?
Fuck. Regan is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate Pryor and Carlin. Like I said, I was too young. I didn't really understand what Carlin was talking about. It was too much about politics. I didn't fucking know what he's talking about. Right. That's why I loved Robin Williams when I first saw him, because I was like, oh, you can be silly and be a comedian. You don't have to be smart intellectually. You can just, even though he was, but you can just be a fucking dork up there, a goofball. I didn't know that was possible. Before that, it was all skinny-tied white guys telling real jokes. You know, that's why I embraced the alternative thing, because it was like after a while, like enough already with just lame comedy. It was all such vanilla lame comedy. And just the same bullshit. For the label, I've had to produce a lot of records from those old TV shows, the evenings at the Improvs and all of that, and they were all doing the same hacky bullshit, and it was all really mediocre, real milquetoast shit.
Yes.
And then around the 90s on a lot of these shows, things started changing. You started seeing the Janines, the David Crosses, and the David Spades, and all these guys came out who would be our next big crop of movie stars or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. And what I think is a real danger in going after comedians, and I always give this example, like we're the ones that take subjects that are uncomfortable for the world and we make them funny so we can all be laughing about it. Now we can at least talk about it. And it started with, I produced God damn it, the roast, the Dean Martin roast back in the day.
Oh my gosh, with Rickles?
The way that they would treat Sammy Davis Jr. would never be tolerated today. But they were doing, the jokes they were making were the worst jokes you could make. But keep in mind, Sammy couldn't stay in the same fucking hotels as them. Yeah. Like he had to stay.
He had to come through the kitchen.
Yeah, and he had to come through the kitchen. So the fact that these guys, these comedians, had the balls to make these jokes on fucking television and make all of America laugh about something that's horrible, racism. But now that we're laughing, maybe we could talk about it now. It's not so taboo once you're laughing. I saw it in the 90s or in the 80s with AIDS. I saw it like, and this is just my experience from editing and producing all these records, like AIDS. And just being gay was a big thing.
Yeah.
Retard, there was a big thing, big span where everybody's talking about retarded people, which, you know, is obviously a bad thing, but at least people laughed about it, and they became more aware that, look, you can't call them retarded. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's like,
no, I know what you mean.
We are that conduit. We're the thing between the scary thing and the public, and we're supposed to make it funny so we can talk about it. And now they're attacking us for trying to make these uncomfortable subjects funny so we can talk about it. We're just doing the job that comedians have been doing since the beginning of time.
If it's done right. Us. If it's done right and you don't preach. I don't care what you talk about, don't preach. I mean, I there's comics, no names, but I go, okay, he's great, but God, here we go with this preaching shit. If I want to get preach, I go to church, and I want to go to church.
That's why I've never like really dug politics, like political comics, like you know.
Well, you know what you're going into with political, you know what you're going into, but I don't care what you talk about as long as it's fucking funny.
Yeah, that's true too. But, but after a while, it does get preachy. It does get, you know, like if you're. I've seen like recovering alcoholics get up and do 20 minutes on recovery, and it's like, you know, you're entertaining a room full of fucking drunks, right? And the last thing they want to hear is that they're making the wrong choices, even though they are. They don't want to hear it. Yeah. They get that same speech from their parents. You know, you drink too much. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think has been your biggest I don't know, crutch? I guess. I'm like, what's stopped you from being up there? From going to the other level to where they go, oh shit, fucking Merryfield's here, I gotta get them tickets. Because no offense, I put myself in the same boat, and that's why I wanted you on here. Because man, when we saw each other in Tulsa, God damn, it was good. Just sit there, eat, and just talk shop.
Yeah,
motherfucker, I love that. I mean, I like talk three things, and comedy's one of them. And I could talk to you forever about comedy.
Exactly.
I hate it when you had to leave. I go, fuck, man.
I only have the one thing. You at least have the other two. I only have the one. I can only talk to you about comedy. I have no other. Well, I could talk UFC a little bit. I could talk a little. Oh, yeah. A little bit of fighting, but I'm not like a martial arts. Like I'm not knowledgeable or anything. I just know a little. But yeah, that's comedy. Is like That's why I love. That's what I've loved about comedy is like when I was growing up, I didn't play organized sports. Obviously, I wasn't in a gang or anything that I didn't really have. I was kind of friends with everybody, but not friends with a lot of people. And when I found comedy, all of a sudden I had this camaraderie with people I had only known for like minutes. Like you walk into a club and I'm like, oh, you're a comic? What's up? I shake hands. I'm immediately friends with that guy because I know he's slept in his car. I know he's done all the shit I've done. And so there's just this immediate brotherhood. And now it's hard to, like, I'm still cool, obviously. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm cool with young comics, but we're not the same. You're not sleeping in your car. You're doing open mics and you're not doing anything else. And you're focusing on your podcast. Like, you're not even fucking funny yet. Why do you have a podcast? You're not even a funny person yet.
And you see the followers, you go, how the fuck do you get 20,000?
And that's the thing, though. That's why I sound like an old person, but the people that follow those people, they're funny enough for that person. They don't care. That's good enough for them. And we were afraid, this is what I was saying about the Funny Bones is, I was opening or headlining the off nights and then opening for big names. And then the YouTube stars started coming in. And it started being to where those off nights started going to YouTube and TikTok stars and stuff. And we all as comics are like, yeah, that's good for now, but wait till those crowds come in and find out that Dan TDM's not funny. Yeah, guess what? They don't give a fuck if Dan TDM's not funny. They don't care. He's not funny on his show when he's playing video games. They show up, he plays video games for 20 minutes, he takes questions for 20 minutes, and he walks out with 20 grand.
And they go, oh, it was good.
And they fucking love it. They're like, I saw Dan TDM. They don't give a shit if he's funny or not.
And that's why, I go, good for them. And I don't think about it. You got to stay in your lane or, try to expand. Obviously try to expand, but it's like, okay, because I don't like to hate on the people because I don't think it's good for me.
Yeah, I don't hate on them because the business is changing. It's not like they're going to go, well, I don't want to be successful doing this because BT and Mike Merryfield still haven't made it and they've worked for it.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. They're doing what they're doing them. And I get it. The thing, it's changing. And I know I sound like an old guy because I don't like I don't do Instagram and all that.
I know shit. You don't. I follow you and I'm like, what's this motherfucker? Would he ever post, please?
Well, I posted for a while and it always got me in trouble. It always got gigs taken away because I would try to be funny. And you know my sense of humor.
Yes.
I come off as an asshole, but I'm trying to be funny.
Okay, but
people can't.
If you were famous though, then they would laugh. If you were famous, they would laugh.
That's the same thing. Then it's exactly what you said earlier. I'm like, everybody thinks what I say is terrible, and then I see some famous guy tweet something very similar, 72,000 fucking retweets. I'm like, when I say it, I get canceled. So. It is what it is. I don't want to be a guy that complains about everything. But
man, God, that's why I wanted you on here, dude. I mean, honestly, this was the conversation I needed to have. I mean, I love anybody comes on this show, especially when I reach out cold to them and they agree to come on here. I love all my guests, but God damn it, I love having this conversation because I still love the fucking game.
I love it. I'm addicted to it. I've tried almost every drug except like PCP and maybe a couple other. Comedy's better than all of them, dude.
Comedy's the greatest.
I've probably done comedy on all of those drugs. And the second you get on stage and you get a couple laughs, those drugs fade away. And now you're on the comedy drug. It's different.
It's the greatest shit in the world.
If I wasn't addicted to it, why would I sleep in my fucking car and drive 3 days for $200 to get? That sounds like meth head behavior. That sounds like heroin behavior to go that far to do a drug. Well, I'm like alienating my family, being away, missing so many family events and Thanksgivings and Easters and I mean that's something a drug addict would do. I'm hooked on what it feels like to make people 300 strangers laugh. It's the fucking best feeling in the world.
It is the greatest. I mean, honestly, like I said, this is the conversation I needed to have. Not even on some bullshit, but it's the truth because it's like you don't like when the pandemic came. Like I said, man, the pandemic was good in the sense of it made me appreciate this fucking job,
right?
And making people laugh and that smile and and somebody going, man, I just want to say I was having a shitty day and I needed this. And you kind of want to go, what happened? You go, fuck it. Thanks.
Dude, there was a lady in Milwaukee early on. I'm like 8 years in. And she came up afterwards. She goes, I just want to tell you, my husband died last week. And this is the first time I've gone an hour without crying. And I didn't think about him one time when you were on stage. And I just want to thank you for that. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like I just did that for a person, Yeah. And I benefited too because I got to hear the laughs. Like, holy shit, what a win-win. That's the other thing. If there's a heaven, I think we'll get in. I mean, we've brought joy to thousands and thousands of people. I mean, Vince Champ won't get in, but I think most comics will get in. Yeah. I wonder if anybody knows who Vince Champion is.
No, they don't. They don't know who Vince Champion is. I don't know if I'm starting to believe in heaven anymore. I'm like, I look at everything now. I go, stereotypically, black people are the most religious. I mean, not even stereotypically, it's the truth, but I think has that really worked out for us?
That's really ironic that you guys have such a faith in a God that seems to have let you down so many times throughout history.
I have a bit that says, like, my buddy, Billy D, his dad was a minister. And I told him, I said, man, I don't think I believe anymore. He goes, oh man, he goes, religion, that's what got the slaves through slavery. I go, that's a bad example. I go, go. There had to be one atheist slave like, hey, man, when's your boy showing up?
Are you sure there's a God?
Because me and you were both in the same place. I don't even believe. Matter of fact, I'm going to sell your ass out so I can go serve some mint juleps in the big house.
I don't think God would want these chains to hurt my arms so much, man.
Or watch my master fuck my wife.
Well, there's that, too. Yeah.
I knew I always ruined it.
What a bad time in history that was.
Anyway.
Hey, but I just found out that I might be 25% Mexican. Do you see it in me at all? No. This is going to be the weirdest thing ever, but there's a controversy on who my real grandfather is. Apparently, my grandma was out there giving that poor her out. But there was some controversy. Like, my dad didn't know who his real dad was. And then on his wedding day, some guy showed up and said, I'm your real dad. But we all question it. And my mom throws me a curveball the other day. And she goes, well, I always kind of thought that your dad might be Mexican because he's very dark skinned. Like, and I tan like a motherfucker. And I have pictures. In fact, there was a baseball player when I was younger that looked just like my dad, and he was Mexican. And I would always say that this is my dad. I would tell kids that was my dad. But so she's like, I think there's a chance maybe your grandma banged some Mexican dude. I'm like, are you telling me at 50 that I might be a quarter Mexican? Like, what a thing to find out towards the end of your life, for God's sakes.
No, it's funny you say, because you're from Wisconsin, and I remember seriously, one of my girlfriends was from Wisconsin, and I remember having Christmas dinner over her house, right? And her grandma was there. Her grandma just was giving me the evil eye, but she's about to die, and she was a real racist. And matter of fact, her mom, my girlfriend's mom, was like, she fell in love with this Mexican dude, right? Back in the day, she loved him, but she knew her grandma. So they didn't make it. So she ended up getting married twice, divorced. Her mom died. Through Facebook, she met the Mexican dude. Now they're married and they're together.
Nice.
And I think it's kind of fucked up. You got to wait for a parent to die so you can live the life you
I've heard that before too. Yeah.
That's
Well,
really
now
fun.
that my parents are dead, I can blow dudes. Well, that's not good. Don't you think your parents would want to see you happy?
Right?
Right?
God damn it. We're getting started with some good shit, but we got to go. We got to go. God damn it.
I'll come back.
No. I mean, honestly, please, we got to have a part 2, dude. We could talk comedy all day.
Unless there's another rally. I don't want to come back. I will not help protect this building.
My guest, Mike Merryfield. If you get a chance, he doesn't check it, but go. His Instagram is.
I go occasionally. Everything's Mike Merryfield on everything. And check out the Stand Up Journeyman. It is on YouTube for free, but I'd rather you go on Amazon and pay for it. I'm not trying to brag, but I've made $36 so far. So
please,
I'm moving on up.
Please check out mi amigo, Mike Merryfield. Check him out. He's seriously one of the funniest guys I've ever worked with and one of the coolest. And we always talk shop. It always makes me laugh. Mike Merryfield, thank you for stopping, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for watching Tales from a Gemini. You know the word. How we do. Peace.